The first half, I thought we competed our tails off and had a couple of real bad mistakes that was ultimately the difference in the first half. When you give up a 99-yard play, it was a backbreaker. And then we don't tackle a guy on the hitch right before the half. And so that's 10 points right there. But played our tails off. We ran the ball, had a great drive. Really proud of that drive we had against an excellent defense when we were down 14-0 and got a stop and pushed it in there. And in the second half, we had a couple of third down opportunities where we don't execute, and they pounded us. I don't know any other way to say it. Just running through tackles, running around us. So we weren't as good as them on the perimeter, and we weren't really as good as them in the middle. And, we only had 2 possessions the second half. And the lost yardage play really hurt. We had a nice drive answering the bell, and we run a little option, and we got to trust our speed and keep running. That hurt us. So at the end of the day, we lost the turnover battle against a great team, and they did a great job. So I don't know what else to say.
You kind of call this, I think, a test of your team's manhood, the way they play.
I knew. We just saw it out there. It's a grown man's game.
For a half, or maybe for the whole, depending on your perspective, how did you think handle that test?
We fought, but I think you got to get some of those third down stops. The dagger play was 3rd and 7 when you got them backed up. We were down. I think we were down 17 at that point, and so you're still fighting, and we get them on the -1, and if we can get the ball back and you cut it to 2 scores, you're still fighting. So that was a bad play, and then some 3rd and 5s, we just couldn't win on the perimeter. They throw a stopper out, and we just, their guy's better than our guy. I don't know what else to say. So eventually, they just wear you down, and if you can't get off on 3rd down against them, they wear you down. They were 6 of 12. And the quarterback runs, a lot of times we're in position. We know what's coming, and we're kind of in position, and the guy just runs around us and scoots on an edge and powers through, and they got a lot of good football players.
Sorry. How much does that sort of highlight the process that you talk about, the fact that you need to keep recruiting and need to keep recruiting bigger and better?
Well, it's, depth, size, speed, But we did some good things out there that I was really proud of. As bad as our running game's been, we ran the ball pretty good against a great defense. And we just didn't get a lot of opportunity the second half. We only had 2 possessions. So, I don't know. They had 3 drives that were just they were long. It's like bleeding to death.
How do you explain the lack of turnovers by the defense at this point in the season? Since the Montana game.
Means we're not creating any, and they're not giving us any. That's about what it is. We're not. I don't know what else to say. We're not creating them, and none of them, and we hadn't gotten any by accident. Usually, both happen. The other team gives you some, and you create some, and we hadn't had either happen.
Let's talk about the way Matt Sims played today.
Matt did some good things. There's some throws he's going to want back. One of the interceptions was a bad mistake. The other one, that guy, he made a good play, and the receivers got to go get it. A couple of throws he'll want back, but we'll see the film. He helped us in the run game too. Matt deserves some credit for that. He really helps us, giving us a chance to get in some good looks. Gives the players a better chance.
Eric, you got a pretty good sample size of Devon after a few games. Another good
He's
one
doing
today.
good. And had another good return. He had a couple of good returns, didn't he? We handed the ball off to him a couple of times, and he was he was getting hit. He got dinged up one time pretty bad, and we were a little nervous to get him back out there. Shouldn't have put him back in. We planned on giving it to him the first play, and he got hit hard. I should have pulled him out. He was dizzy.
In addition to Matt's checks, what were the other things that helped the run game today? Other than
Torrin Poole ran really well. He was focused and wasn't trying to make big plays. He was jamming it up in there, and the line blocked well. And so that's a real positive, I know. And to Rick, who he made a couple of big plays when it was easy to get frustrated there early on. Made some big third downs for us. Rajon made a nice play.
After the first half, your defense seemed to respond well, even in like a bad situation.
Yeah.
Were you happy or proud of them?
I was feeling good at halftime. You know, the 10-point difference was, to me, a 99-yard interception return, which I don't know where the rest of the offensive guys were. You know, we got to cover every time we throw it, and we didn't do a good job there. It's inexcusable. But Morris is a great player, and he's made an impact play in a lot of games. They have a lot of guys who have an ability to make impact, game-changing plays. And, you know, 7 didn't, but 17 does. And then if 17 doesn't, 1 will do it. And then if he doesn't, one of the D linemen will do it. You know, so, and when you play those kind of defenses, you have to play. You know, last year they go, well, you guys did a good job last year. We got 4 turnovers, and, you know, they gave us four balls, which, you know, add 4 turnovers to that, and all of a sudden things get different. You know, when you play these great teams, turnovers are critical, and you can't make bad mistakes.
Coach, on kind of that same theme, in the first half, I mean, did you feel like that kind of showed how thin the margin of error was with, you know, offsides, the missed tackle you referenced on Marsalis, just small things that maybe LSU could overcome and you guys don't have the players to do that?
I mean, so, you know, where I get really frustrated is when we make mistakes that have nothing to do with the opponent. That really upsets me. But some of the mistakes we made, it's because they got a good guy, you know, who gets us. And so we probably made more mistakes out there than we should have, but, you know, it gets tough.
When did fatigue start setting in, do you feel like, Coach?
I don't know. The last drive, obviously, it gets tough. I mean, it's 31-7. It's 6 minutes to go, and you got to just keep fighting, and it gets tough out there. So I'm not sure it's a fatigue issue.
There seemed to be a lot of jawing going on between Derek and 7 and then a couple of other guys. What was going on there? Something different?
No, I just think, you know, young, spirited guys. They got a bunch of young spirit, and we got some too, and I don't think it was anything malicious. You know, just competitive, spirited guys wanting to compete. And, you know, I didn't think it was out of hand. We had a couple penalties disappointed me, but I don't know. We had 2 late hits. I don't know. I'm going to look at the film. We shouldn't have those. But I don't think it was a lack of poise. They didn't look like to me. It was just kind of finishing a play.
Derek, when Prentice went out, it seemed like you played more corner.
Yeah. But we were struggling at corner, you know. I mean, their guys were whooping up on our guys on the perimeter. And, you know, it's the same old deal. You got to stop the run game, so your corner's got to hold up outside. And then it's 3rd and 5. It's tough.
Prentice got hurt. He came back in the second half. I don't know if he played in the second quarter or not after that.
No, he didn't play much for a while, but then he kind of came back. Mm-hmm.
In the run game, you had success, it looked like, putting somebody in motion and then running. Was there something about their defense that you saw that?
No. I mean, every game we have a plan, doing some different formational things to try to get us in a good position. But the run game worked because our guys played better. Up front, our running back ran better. Marlon ran good, and he didn't get many touches. But and if we continue that path, we're going to be fine in the run game.
Coach, the secondary, is that just the youth and just learning as you go, or is there something else?
Well, I don't know. We're not that young in the secondary. Height, weight, speed, athleticism, and over time gets tough.
Coach, you thought just about the growing process for some of the freshmen. Your 3 on your top 4 tacklers today were AJ, Kurt, and Brian Randolph. Just how valuable like these things.
Who was the 4th? They were the top 3, weren't they? Malik, yeah.
Just how much those guys are growing in these kind of games.
They're going to be really good players, all 3 of those guys. And right now they're not. They don't have the physicality to hold up in this kind of game, I don't think, because they're young, their bodies. But they have, AJ and Kurt. AJ especially has more physicality than anybody we have in the back 7. And he can. I told y'all this was going to be his kind of game, and he's got stature that can compete against these kind of teams, and that's what we have to keep improving on. This is a stature game. It's big guys hitting you, and you got to have big guys that can hold up for 4 quarters. Or they got to spit the ball out 4 times. It's one or the other.
Was just something that the LSU defense was doing to eliminate Michael Rivera? It just seemed like one of the opportunities.
No, we were concerned going into the game that we didn't have enough for Mike, and a lot of it is because of the pressures. You max protect. That's a dilemma with a tight end. And so if you're going to max, you got to go 2 tight ends and put the other tight end as the blocker, and then can he hold up against these kind of guys? So that's a little bit the dilemma with Mike. When you want a 7-man protected, he's a good protector, but he's also a weapon at tight end. And Jim and I said it all week. We don't feel like we have enough for Mike, and then we called some things to get him the ball, and it just wasn't there. So he'll have his. It's just one of those games. Sometimes tight ends, they got to go block.
Without game reps, without game reps for a while, did you feel like there's any rust with Matt throwing the ball 6 for 20?
No.
It's not just LSU today.
Yeah. They do a good job, and I go back to stature. There's a couple that we dropped. DeRick dropped one. Zach Rogers dropped a couple on just stature type plays. You know what I mean? We're coming in and he's on us, and the strong big guy is going to get it. And DeRick's got that stature, and that's why he was able, when he was matched up on number 7 in the slot, we won most of those. Big guys usually beat little guys. And when a big guy is on a little guy, it gets tough on him when the space is reduced, if that makes sense. So you have to separate and use your quickness and all that. But if they got those long arms and they stick it on you and you don't move, I saw it all over the field. I saw it at Gunner. Our guys and their hands are on us and they're pushing us. And, you just got to keep fighting. That's all you can do.
You've been pretty candid in how you expect to be judged and things like that, but you also sound kind of upbeat today.
I'm not upbeat, no. I saw some good things. In every game, there's things that disappoint you. In every game, there's things you feel good about. But that game was not complex. I'm not sure how many mistakes that we made, and we made a couple on offense in the first half. But that second half, they just kept hitting us. I don't know what else to do. I can get up there and scream at them, but that's not going to help.